Whenever your camera ready.
Why would you start recording then, my boy? That makes sense?
Well, either way the video go, considering that I know that this topic is going to be long.
Interesting. And sucks that these are the usual three. The more the merrier. Raj. I actually want to hear film counter argument to all of this.
Yes, boss.
I'm not sure he has a counter argument.
Counter argument today.
I would say it's more of a kind of an adjacent argument.
Yeah.
The correct term.
Okay. I'm not saying.
Anyway,
I'm not
let's get. Hold on. I'm gonna try cleaning the lines one more time.
Yes.
Nothing. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Controversial Topics. Tonight we have myself, Dario. We have Xavier the Doctor and Andre Bradshaw, the Blacktivist. We don't have our other cohorts joining us tonight. Not sure if they're going to be late or just absent in general. But we have a very exciting topic. We're going to talk about the Roe v. Wade abortion law. We're just mainly the abortion aspect, but from my understanding, it actually goes a bit deeper than just forbidding women or disallowing women from getting legal abortions.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it does go a lot deeper because, I mean, I think there are arguments that can have it, what was it again? That can stop, I think, interracial marriages, if I'm not mistaken.
How do I put this? Yes, hypothetically, yes, it can, but will it? No. There's many arguments coming out of all of this saying that Roe v. Wade is just a stepping stone for the Supreme Court to go after other things, But America is looking down a pipeline of, in the next 30 to 50 years, that there's going to be an underpopulation amongst citizens. Why people are saying that the government is pipelining illegals into the country to make up for the numbers of people that are going to die, or lack thereof of citizens. So again, that's one of the many arguments. But yeah, with feminism and the government and the LGBT who don't truly believe in, children, and I won't stop saying that, because the whole premise of their argument isn't based about families. It's not. If anybody who actually pay attention to the manifesto will see that, because unless you're going against God's divine blueprint, a man can't procreate, and a woman can't procreate. And if a man calls himself a woman but is attracted to men, he still can't procreate. And if a woman who calls herself a man is still attracted to a woman, still can't procreate. Again, this argument goes different angles and different directions, but I can honestly say people who honestly believe that this is just aimed to hurt one subsection of people, no, it's not. The only difference, I'm sorry, anybody else want from a continue? But do you have anything else I want to say?
No, man.
Oh,
you're going over all the bases, so just we'll add on later.
Yeah, I was just saying that those people who believe that this is just an attack on and abortion and women and you see now this is another thing that people need to understand. You can't say one thing but then you do another. You understand me?
Women do it
The
all the
only
time.
exactly.
I'm,
And
I'm sorry. No, continue. I don't want to throw shade just yet.
the left or the Democrats are famous for saying one thing but then doing the next. Most recently, and I could say a few years now, they've been pushing this narrative that a woman can identify as whatever she wants, man or woman, or man can identify whatever he wants. But as soon as the conversation about abortion comes around, miraculously, a man isn't a woman anymore, or a woman, a trans woman isn't a woman anymore. So it begs to differ. Where is the line if there is one? And why does it you automatically remember about biological women's rights? Because before then, a trans woman was a woman, right?
Yeah.
So
I know it's women and birth givers.
you understand me? No. You can't say woman. It has to be cis gender women and birth givers. So even the whole argument about a trans woman is a woman gets thrown out of the window as soon as Roe versus Wade, has been overturned. So again, to all the people who out there that look on this as, oh, this is unfair, and for those women who claim that they've been fighting the patriarchy, this is what a true patriarchy really looks like. This is the first taste for a lot of people what a real patriarchy really looks like. For all of those idiots and all of those ignoramuses who get up and fight the patriarchy, they haven't experienced what a true patriarchy really looks like. This is probably the first taste of what a real patriarchy looks like. Because contrary to what they may or may believe, all the laws, the standards that benefit them throughout the decades, all them double standards were created by the same patriarchy. Right. All of the double standards, the one that will turn men into second-class citizens, the one will make you believe that you have a constitutional right for me to pay for your abortion. They were all created by men. No women were. I'm not going to say no women were involved, but the majority for these laws to be passed into actual laws, these bills to be passed into law, it took men stepping on men, pushing men to the back of the classroom, the back of life, to make women feel a certain way. And we can go down this rabbit hole tonight because I'll be honest with you. For those people who are so up in their feelings, I beg you, for 5 minutes or a bit longer, please refrain from using your emotions to use common sense. Because Roe versus Wade, if you were to truly do some, even a little research on the same article that the Supreme Court turned into a constitutional right, and then it got revoked because it was done just like the ban on marijuana. And I won't say for the other drugs, because let's be real here. Every other drug was actually killing people and making them black out and causing more harm than actual good. But
Skill
marijuana,
count is still zero.
exactly. But the point I'm trying to make is just like Roe v. Wade, just like Roe v. Wade, marijuana was banned based off hearsay. Roe v. Wade, once it was finally, after 50 something years, it was finally decided to go over. It wasn't the judges just got together and said, you know what, let's vote on it. They actually went over the articles of Roe v. Wade and realized that this was botched. This was not done correctly. This was not thoroughly investigated. And they actually did the actual work this time. And the more they went into it, the more they realized that this was a lie. This was a lie. Roe v. Wade didn't happen the way how it was originally stated. And when they went through the actual articles of, of the bill, they realized that this thing was rushed. So for those people who are so hellbound into their feelings and this is, I won't lie, there is some form of bias as it relates to people and it comes to the voting, but the evidence was all laid out. It was laid out in front of people. And I know for some people, they hate the fact that, there's more people who were pro-life and this and that. No, it's not all entirely true. The argument was fully fleshed out in front of all the judges. It was fully fleshed out. And those who voted against it not being turned over had to do it because it looked too bad that so many were in agreement. You understand? It was, as Jamaicans will say, you wipe the shame out on the eye because they wanted to vote for against it as well. Just like that mattress girl scandal in university that made men so terrified to even approach girls. Come to find out, mattress girl was an actual lie. This woman was
Mattress
out of
girl?
her.
What's that?
Yeah, yeah. There was a case of this rape allegation where this girl said she was raped and she walked around for months, I think weeks or months, with the mattress, quote unquote, she got raped on. They did forensic and they backtracked all the way back to when she said she was allegedly raped, and all the video surveillance and all the witness testimonies. She was lying. But the left, Democrats, just jumped on her statement and ran with it. It got so bad that it also gave light to it helped create the Me Too and the Believe All Women movement rubbish. You understand me? Mattress Girl was one of their main monocles to say, you see, this is a living proof that there's rape culture in universities. And that's a lie. Huge lie. And it only got amplified even worse thanks to social media. Social media started to push this narrative that through modern media like Law and Order and a few other JAG and all those other daytime or series, they started pushing this. And I'm not saying as it relates to the army and the military forces. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as it relates to college. The media made this invisible culture that does not exist. And I will be quote unquote by all the idiots be seen as misogynistic. But then again, I don't reason in feelings, I reason in logic. You do your own research. Stop following television, people. This is why people are so messed up nowadays. You want the television to be telling you the truth when it's a lie.
Tell live
Stop.
vision.
It's television. And for those people who can't see past what them emotions, because I won't lie, it hurt me because I did feed into the same nonsense for years that people can't, they couldn't be this twisted, can they? Would they really try to warp the way I
If
think?
a guidance counselor or even a nurse or someone who works in the ER just tells you about some stories about like a day in their life, you would lose all hope in humanity. I swear to you. You might even go into depression. That's not even a joke or an exaggeration.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, even with them kind of evidence there, and then you need to understand people. This is what's being told to young girls now, that people hate you and Robbie versus Wade somehow is going to hurt you in the future. No, no, it's not. At the state level, at every state, contrary to what people may or may not believe, almost every state makes provisions for people who have had pregnancies unwanted or by, scrupulous situations, rape, incest, the worst case scenarios. Every state, every state in the US has made provisions to help the young ladies involved. The only difference is that they're not telling most women is that more than others, they there is a cutoff time for almost every state.
Mm-hmm.
I believe California is 6 months. Florida, where I'm at, is 4 months and a week. That's what, 15 weeks? Yeah. So again, but the media is purposely leaving a lot of this information out. And remember, Florida is not even a left leaning state. It's right. It's more Republicans here than there actually, I mean, yeah, by the numbers, there's more Republicans here than there are Democrats. And a Republican governor made that law to help people. So again, for those people who think Republicans hate women or hate society, that's a lie. I'm not defending him per se, but again, I reason in logic. I don't reason in feelings. Feelings is what gets you caught up and do a one bag of rubbish, and then you same one get caught in the crossfires. This is why I must say abortion laws at the constitutional level, you do not have a constitutional right to an abortion because the government isn't going to pay for said abortions. The government is going to pass a bill which is going to inflate and quote and add a tax to your already huge taxes or you have to pay every year to the government. You the people pay for that unwanted abortion or that wanted abortion. Even when you are not the one being promiscuous or
Hmm.
using abortion as a form of contraceptive. Yes, people, contrary to what you may or may not believe, abortions aren't being used in the United States or England or from most of those quote unquote progressive countries of the West. It's not being used as a means to terminate an unwanted pregnancy by, say, you know, unexpected circumstances. No, it's being used as a form of contraceptive. So someone steps into an abortion clinic, my my taxes, my money, I will come out of my pocket to help pay for you who can't control your hormones. That is crazy.
There are people with like double-digit abortions.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And you need to understand. And for those of you people who think it's you people are overinflated. There was a girl in England that literally made a TikTok going through her eighth abortion, the full process, eighth abortion, and then there's another twisted couple that the woman says she gets off on all the consequence-free sex. She gets to have up till a certain point, a certain amount of months, and then she goes to an abortion clinic and kills the child, just like that. And she and her lover revel in that freedom to just kill an unwanted child after all the months of consequence-free sex. Do you realize how
I
sick
mean, kill
and
kill the babies if you want. It's yours, but like that's just fucking creepy. You know
that
how
is
like psychologically fucked up, not even damaged or messed up, like properly fucked up you have to be to even think or even say some shit like that.
sir, is one thing to say it and it's another thing to actually revel. For those who don't understand what that means, to revel in the act, revel in the fact that there's people out there that can't even have a child, and you kill eight. Eight. What the hell? You're telling me that oh my god. And it breaks my heart because you have people who would love to buy a child. to get a child. There are people in the US who can't give birth that have gone through what's that thing
Like,
called again?
you could take a morning after. It would be easier and less
All right,
detrimental.
and let it be known, there's 17 different forms of contraceptive for those of you who do not know. 17, including the one that you can it's like a net that can catch the sperm. There's this device that them insert into the female, and its goal is
The
to, it's like a
IUD,
mesh.
interuterine device. The IUD.
There you go. It's made to catch the sperm. So for those of you who don't even like condoms, because believe it or not, gentlemen, not only men who say them don't like condom. There's women who are also
Yeah,
allergic
I
to
mean,
liquid.
there are women who are genuinely allergic to condoms as well.
Yeah, yeah. But back to what we were saying, right? And I know people go like, how is this I'm like, come on, first off, if you want to have an abortion so badly, I've said this before in our podcast group, and I'll say it here. Go into your own pocket. Go into your own pocket. It's your right, and I agree with you. If it's going to be your right to have an abortion, it should also be your responsibility to pay for said abortion. There should be no legal twisting of my arm. It's because I am pro-life per se, because I am pro-life. You understand me? I'm not saying that if a woman gets a child and she's conscious early, early conscious that she can't take care of this child and she wants to go down that road. Again, I know it sounds cruel at the same time too, but again, I can understand from that point of view. But if you're going to wait until you're 6, 7, 5 months in, and because you and the baby daddy or you and the guy.
Wait, hold on. I mean, I remember you saying this. I forgot to do the research. People
Mhm.
are allowed to abort kids 7 months in.
7, I'm not so sure myself, but I know for California it's up to 6 months. There was
Bro,
an
6 months
argument.
is still kind of a stretch, though.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's a fully formed fetus. Fully
That's
formed.
basically a fully formed. Like, you just put it on the icing on the cake at this point.
Exactly. But again, California goes all the way up to 6. And I believe at some point there was an argument that there was up to 9 months. But Donald Trump made that illegal. And he was cussed the hell out for it. And at first I didn't understand, and I was on the whole fritz that, oh, he's just trying to be a misogynist. Again, before I actually put my feelings aside and listen to what he was actually saying, where he's like, no woman, and this was when Roe v. versus Wade was still there. He federally banned that women couldn't abort a baby once that baby reached 9 months, which means there were states that were aborting babies up to 9 months, people.
So
That's a
basically, your due date was the 21st, and you're aborting the kid at the 20th. That's
thank you. Thank you.
oh,
And people were upset. People were livid. And I'm like, what? Are you serious right now?
so wait, how is that not murder then? Because I mean, technically 9 months.
I asked the same argument and then I got the same bullshit response. Her body, her choice. And I'm like, oh, for real?
Which brings us to the other point that we were discussing: my money, my choice.
Agreed. And I will not stop saying that. I don't care who vexed about this.
I said
Let
this years ago, and I was surprised when Dave Chappelle said it at one of the specials for Netflix.
yes. And I agreed with him 1,000,000%. And for
I
everybody
was
in
like,
the
oh my God, I'm not the only one.
oh shoot, sir, I've been saying that.
This is why I support. This is
But
why
I
men
was,
men need to speak to other men.
of course. And that's why the whole answer about iron sharpens iron. And I'm not saying that there are men out there that don't deserve to be fathers, because some of them really don't. You
True.
understand me? I really acknowledge that.
Yeah,
There's a
but I
lot.
mean, I'm not the one opening up legs to them. So
Thank you very much. And that's where the rubber meets the road. You understand me? For those you don't understand, if you know this man, and come on, people, men are more straightforward than you think we are. Men, and if a man
Yeah,
even say,
even our lies aren't that good.
thank you, his actions, his actions, that's the easiest way to tell if a man serious.
You dating this dude and he says, yeah, I have XYZ amount of kids, and you've never seen him take care of them. You've never seen him buy them a toy. You've never seen him say, oh, it's my son's birthday, so I'm gonna have to go
You,
to my baby mama's house,
you,
drop off the toys, I take my kids for ice cream. And you've been dating him for umpteen months, umpteen years.
you've never seen
And
any of
then
his
when
kids.
you get pregnant and he leaves, oh my God, he's a piece of shit. Like, so what are you?
Seriously? And I asked the same question. Seriously, how?
And I mean, I've said this, but not an excuse, but this is a general reason. There's some people who are snakes,
Of
but
course.
you have way less snakes than you do dogs.
And those people, I made purpose. I purposely said I believe that there should be paternity at birth, and I was cussed out on Facebook. I was cussed out in real life. I was cussed out a lot. I'm like, seriously, that's the next step that there really
The
should be.
paternity. So hold on. So men can't say my money, my choice, and disown the child. We can't get confirmation if it is our child, but
Mhm.
women can kill the child. I'm pretty sure you're doing the worst thing to it.
Thank you very much. I have no say if I'm like, okay,
I mean,
don't
if
kill it.
I had to choose
Mhm,
between like struggling or
mhm,
like knowing my correct father and
mhm.
like just not living whatsoever, like which choice? Well, let's ask women, which choice would you make? Let's hear it in the comments.
Mhm. Yes, please
Or better, if you
comment.
don't want to speak, you can always just leave a dislike. We'll know.
Ah, but anywho, for those of you people who think this is just a joke and we're just being misogynistic, because I know, for some of you
I'm
I
not
am.
being a misogynist. I'm being an honest asshole.
Thank you very much. And I view myself the same. But again, I don't reason in feelings, I reason in logic.
Thing is that
People,
when you let emotions run your decisions, logic will serve you your punishment.
yes, it will. Yes, it
I don't
will.
remember who made the quote, but that's an actual thing.
Hmm. And it bothers me because you have a lot of people out there want the world to be emotional and men must be all emotionally available and all that rubbish. Even though this is not about that conversation, this also feeds into the whole men uniting and agreeing with the uproar and the outpour and all of the violence and the threats and people starting to forget who the hell them is and disrespecting Supreme Court justices. And I'm like, wow, seriously? Putting hit pieces on people's lives. The Supreme Court justices used to be so well protected. They were almost seen as if rock stars. Apart from the politicians, they were above the politicians as far as, because whatever the politicians put forward to be laws, they had the power to overturn them. They were actually the main reason why America isn't a dictatorship, or it's if the law seems too outlandish, they had the power to throw it out. They had the power to throw it out. That's why no one party could ever truly monopolize this country. Because if the law didn't make much sense, the Supreme Court justice would put it against the Constitution and see if it stacks up to make sense. If it did not, it was thrown out. Again, just like them say, driving is not a right, it's a privilege. Having a
Okay.
license, being able to drive is not a right, it's a privilege.
Yep.
And a lot of people mix up or don't quite understand that. So, trying to explain this to people that constitutionally you do not have a right to kill an unborn child, because before there were so many modern medical marvels, before all the for all the contraceptives, before all the ways of, you know, protecting yourself or killing of unwanted sperm, there used to be a thing called consequences, where people couldn't avoid them. Back in the day, if you as a girl catch belly, you know, say, you have to go find the man who breed you. There was no way of terminated said belly. So you had to think before you laid down with any man. Because if guy pull out game was weak, oh, you know you get knocked.
In more ways than one.
Exactly. So your family and his family would have to get together, and there was no doubt in anyone's head that it was his child, because then there was consequences for sleeping around as both a man and a woman. They were both consequences for the actions. But the more society moved away from those those
Values.
values and moral obligations, it only got worse. It only got worse now that women will look upon a man and know say he ain't no good. And I repeat, she will look at a man and know he ain't no good. I'm gonna tell a man, say, everybody who cuss Elephant Man, for example, who say his goal, one of his goals in life is to beat his father's record in terms of how many kids he has. Body cuss Elephant Man, but nobody no cuss the woman them who knows the elephant have
I
over
mean, lest we forget. I mean, I've said this when we cover relationships quite a few times. It's a relationship. It's not rape.
exactly,
There's no gun to your head. There's no knife to your throat. There's no bomb strapped to your chest.
exactly, people.
You
And I've said
opened your legs. He didn't
yes,
slither in.
exactly. And again, don't, and I'm not trying to put the blame solely on women, but you have to think before you act.
No, I'm
Society,
not putting the blame solely. I'm giving them their 50.
exactly. Because believe it or not, I have no pleasure, I have no sympathy for scumbag men. Best believe that. I don't hang around deadbeats on purpose. Me avoid all
Yeah,
deadbeat father.
if I know like I'm gonna lose respect for you, I'm not gonna be your friend. I swear.
Yes, what's that?
Like something just came to mind, and this might sound misogynistic, but
Hmm.
I'm not sure I care. Do you think that the more freedom we've given to women, the worse things have gotten?
I'd say yes, unfortunately. And I honestly don't want to be that guy, but yes, it really has gotten worse since the more freedoms women have gotten over the years, the less morality has been plugged in. And for every idiot who believes that, oh, well, it's the men them cause that.
Yeah, I will take
Oh,
that. I will take that.
okay. But
I'll take it
on
because I mean, if we had held on to the reins tighter, then
true,
we wouldn't have caused it, and you couldn't have
true,
said that we caused it because it wouldn't have happened.
true. And I
So
double
I
down
mean,
on.
I don't think they understand what they're saying when they do blame men, and
Mhm.
then as I mean, most feminists would say would do this shit. They're blaming men, but they're not even understanding what they're doing by blaming us. They're
Mhm.
saying that hey, we should go back to how we had things several hundred years ago, 100 years ago,
Exactly.
not 1,000 years ago,
I've been
and put
saying
on
that.
more restrictions on you.
And then you raise the people that man are
And then
controlful.
how you can then if we don't allow you to do certain things, you cannot blame us and say, oh, it's our fault.
I
Because I mean, now
believe,
you have the freedom that you wanted, the freedom that you
hmm
protest for and fought for, and this is what you're doing with it, and you're still blaming us for
yes,
your actions.
And then I double down on this. For every household that a father truly, I'm not talking a sperm donor or one of them man there who, the girl having balls in her bag or, on a necklace or not. We're talking about real men, men who actually stood up and said something in their relationships, marriage, and the rearing of their children. When men held the reins of the relationship and the reign of the children, 9 out of 10 times, the boys turned out to be something. The girls chose wisely or thought before engaging in sexual promiscuity because back then morality was a part of the rearing of children. There used to be an old saying that my father used to say at one point: you are a representative of your family's last name. Believe me, I may have come from the ghetto, but that kind of thinking and that kind of teaching made me think before we do certain things because what? The information was going to be passed back to our parents. So we were forced to be good kids, good children, because our actions had consequences.
Yeah, I mean, there are times when I didn't have enough sense, but I only needed to make a mistake once or even see someone else make a
Mm-hmm,
mistake to fix it even before it went wrong some of the times.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, probably, possibly that's what sets us apart from other people because I don't see how eh, some people can't learn or just refuse to learn.
I believe there's more. I just believe that. Like my parents used to tell me something. Say you have two ways of learning, either by willingness or by force. Those were the original two options growing up. But when you remove the consequences of failing and people give you medals and a pat on the back and no, sir, you failed. Pick yourself up, reevaluate what you did wrong, and make the necessary corrections and
I think
keep
that's
it.
what's going on right now in society. We're giving out participation trophies in life. So a person can make a mistake and they don't have to take accountability, so they don't feel like a failure.
And that's
And
that's
they're basically blaming society. They're blaming the judges, the proverbial judges or the
hmm
proverbial referees that
hmm
they didn't get a participation trophy for failing when they
and
when
I
they do fuck up.
and I find that bizarre.
So that it's never actually my fault. It's not that I didn't do this, or that I
The one
shouldn't have to do this. I should just live or breathe air, and I should get rewarded for it. No matter
kind
how
of
much I
makes
fuck up, no matter how much I purpose, even not even say like a person that tries and fails, like a person that just actively fails or actively does nothing.
hmm someone else takes responsibility for that.
Yeah, it's your fault. It's society's fault. Just like
That's great.
in America now, it's the referee's fault or the judge's fault
hmm
or the organizer's fault if we don't get a trophy for just showing up. If our
Sir,
coaches didn't train us properly or didn't train us at all and just sent us out on the field to get
sir.
100-0
hmm
in a basketball game or 50-0
mm
in a little kid soccer game or something like that. That
Let
we're
me do
still
you
supposed
one.
to get participation trophies. We're still winners.
Of course, let me do
And
you
you're
one
wrong.
better. Let me do you one better. Right now, in the teaching world up here in America, they've literally pivot the system away that the children are incentivized to just show up. They're also
Yeah,
incentivized
a math
ways.
teacher when I was at high school taught us that he had just come from teaching overseas, and he
Mhm.
says he doesn't give zeros on papers. He will give you, I think, what was it like 3% just for writing your name. You know, at the time I thought that was
Mr.
okay. I was generous, so we won't get because there
Man
were
named
guys who
Mr.
just didn't try in math class.
A man named Mr. Miller you talk about?
Mr. Who?
Miller. A short, bald gentleman. I
I think he
remember
was
when I
skinny
met.
with a mustache,
Yes, he had a mustache. Yes.
dark skin.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was Smithy was his name. You sure it was Miller?
Smith. Yes, you're right.
It was Smith. Yeah.
Right, you're right. Mm-hmm.
And he's always well spoken and articulate. That's the guy. Yeah, man. Smith.
Yes, Smith. There you
I
go.
mean, at the time I thought it was like okay, decent. So I'm like, in my head I was thinking, so those specific five guys in my class will never get zero in math again.
Exactly. But
I mean,
but
that
no,
was what
take
I was
that.
thinking in my mind, but like, no, I'm like, that's probably like a bad precedent.
Sure, you want worse than that? Someone actually challenged that. A dude by the name of Stefan Plummer purposely got his own name wrong. He spelled
That's his
his
own
name.
what?
He was a goalkeeper for KC at one point. His name was
Yeah.
Stefan Plummer. The dude spelled his name wrong. I don't know if he did it on purpose. I don't know if he was rushing it, but
Yeah.
he spelled his name wrong. And Mr. Miller laugh. And I won't lie, there's a lot of guys who got 3%, including myself, because math wasn't my favorite subject coming up the chain. I'm not going to pretend like it was. But even so, sometimes, and it was like a joke when the man done the maths test and a walker come down the aisle, him call it by name. Andre Bradshaw, 3%. Stefan Plummer, 3%. But the point we're getting at is that now imagine that to an extreme where just showing up. I remember there's no system in place to like I said, there's no consequences in the education system no more. Sending a child to the principal's office right now, nowadays in 2022, would get the teacher in trouble. The education system stressed that the teacher must create miracles. If the child is inattentive, doesn't care, doesn't show up, curse you out, spit at you, you understand me? There's no repercussions for the child.
And
And
it
then just
fosters this sense of entitlement. And I mean,
exactly
they're like making it harder and harder. So the sense of entitlement is getting stronger and stronger.
to the point it reached absurd levels where parents who are not doing their jobs, not checking their children's homework, not doing a goddamn thing, but their social media, their lives. Like I said, coronavirus was the first time some parents finally realized the kind of monsters they are raising.
No, like
The first time
it was
somebody
even
see them.
some comedians, like a lot of comedians even came out like, hey, parents, Corona taught us a lot, right? Like it was never the teachers. Our kids are shit. Like, and it's like
Yeah,
numerous comedians and like other people coming out and say that.
yeah.
People just regular parents on social media just coming out like, yo, I
You need to
genuinely didn't
understand.
know that my kid was this horrible.
People literally was cussing the federal government to reopen schools.
Because they were
Yes,
tired of their own kids.
it was that bad. It was that bad. Parents wanted the schools reopened in the middle of coronavirus because within just a week or less of having their children around them 24/7.
Yeah, when the kids can't put up the facade for too long.
And believe, yeah, parents killed some of their children, and some of the kids did commit suicide as well. Being cut off from their friends, physical people, drove up the suicide rates in society.
I
COVID
mean, yeah,
19.
we psychologists kind of expected that. They actually said so before. I mean, I think initial lockdowns.
That look good. But yeah, and I mean, it's still scares me that there's a lot of people out there that chooses to ignore that there is a major problem. There's a major problem, and people are downsizing it. Sorry, people are downsizing on purpose because, oh, that's not my child. My child would never do that.
Huh. Yeah, they wouldn't do that. They're doing worse.
Of course they are.
Your
And
child was the
parents,
ringleader, not the person who got caught.
I remember back in the day when a child was failing at school and a teacher had to meet your parents, you dreaded that encounter between your parent
No,
and
well,
your,
in Jamaica, that's still a thing.
to some
Corona or
extent.
no corona.
To some extent, but not all the while.
Well, not all
Nowadays
the
we
while,
have
but I would say for the majority, it's a thing. Even though I
well,
would still say for the majority. I
yeah,
know I would bet more than that it's still over 50%.
yes, I hope so because
Maybe over 60 as well.
we're in a society now that's literally encouraging children to fight back and not in a good way because the parents are
Yeah,
also
but as
adding
in it's not even say fight back or as in a sensible or respectful way.
yes,
Just
but
rebel, but okay, fine, you're rebelling. But what is your cause? What is your goal? What are you fighting for?
there is no goal because the parents themselves don't even know why them come school for come
I
war
mean,
before.
as Jamaicans, as black people, when our ancestors rebelled and fought back, they were fighting for, they were not just fighting against racism or against slavery. They were
Yes,
fighting for freedom, for humanity, for
yes.
our for our humanity as black people.
Mhm.
Like you're fighting against your parents. Like, okay, what is your goal? What are you fighting for?
What are you
Like, I
rebelling?
don't want to go to school. Okay, what do you want to do? Stay home and play video games. In which house? In which
Exactly.
games did you buy? Where's the TV you're
Exactly.
gonna play it on?
Exactly. Shoot. I remember I had a friend who went to
You don't have.
Georgia.
Yeah, continue.
I had a friend who went to St. George's College, and most of, if not three quarters of the school year, the TV was turned to the wall. This TV was turned to the wall. There was no game. There was no Saturday. There was books. There was books, and there was more books. Guess what? The lowest grade score in that entire house was. And we're talking about all boys. Not like him said there was a girl present. It was like four boys living in that household. Guess what the lowest one score? The lowest score mark overall for the year.
85.
Thank you very much. Good guess, my boy. That was the lowest grade in
Fun.
that entire. Nothing
I remember
under
when I
80.
was at a math class this one time,
Nothing
and
under
these
80.
immaculate girls were like chatting their classmate, and this chick was like, "How can you get like 80 on a chemistry test? You are so dunce! Like, oh my god, she's so stupid!" Like, I'm like, if I got 70 on chemistry, I would throw a friggin' party.
Nigga, if I
And
guess,
now they're mocking their classmate for getting 80. The
yo,
fuck
exactly. But the
kind of
point is,
life you living?
no, but the standard. But listen, what that's the thing I tell people. The standard
Fam,
exists. The, well, I know.
if
The
someone
standard.
in my class got 85, I think it probably possibly would have been the highest score.
Well, I know that way. Let me give you a better one. There's a pastor that lives in Portmore. He built a magnificent church going close to Hellshire. I believe his name is
Okay.
Anthony. When that man spoke about his daughters and how they excelled, you know how they did it? He did not put competition in his household. He put cooperation in his household. Same thing happened in the George's dude's household.
Mm-hmm.
None of the boys none of them went to a normal high school. Everyone went to a traditional high school. George's, JC, I don't think nobody got KC. I think one more they got George's and I think one they got Wolmer's. But again,
Mm-hmm.
the point is there was no competition amongst them. It was straight cooperation amongst them. When one having a problem, they literally took the time to help him understand. They took the time to help him understand. You understand me? It wasn't a case where like, and if he failed, it's like the whole house failed. That's how personal they took each other's grades. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And every one of them went to the university. Every one of them now a good job now. I mean, the father had ties with corporations, but I mean, with grades like that, how the hell could do? How would they get? Why? How wouldn't they? And when they went to university, guess what? The same behavior took them to university too. It was
They
about,
networked as a family just to get through school. Like the
sir.
same way that they're telling us to network now to get through life and business and so forth.
Of course, sir. Sir, so let me ask you a question. If you hold each other so close up in arms for all those years, why wouldn't you pick your brother? Or let me fix it, not your direct biological brother, but the way how on a check for one another might as well on a biological brother cannot love and respect each other the same way.
Exactly.
But people, sorry for stray so far, but back to the whole abortion thing.
Oh, all right. Oh, I had these side notes, so I wanted to just make
Mm.
it clear. It's not a case that we are necessarily against abortions or women's rights or whatever.
I'm I, I'm I'm not, even though I'm pro-life, I believe if an abortion is to be had, it if it's going to be had, make it be had for a good reason. You understand me? Don't make it become a frequent thing. You understand me?
Yeah, I
And
mean, you getting pregnant because you're young and dumb. As dumb as it is, I can't even complain about that because not everybody wises up or matures at the same time.
true.
I mean, not every not everyone would go through the same trauma or even process trauma in a similar fashion. So I can't
Agree.
expect you to have the level of sense I had at a certain age
Mm-hmm.
or another person. I mean,
And mm-hmm.
even this guy I see on makes shorts on YouTube and sermons. I'm assuming he's a pastor or something like that. He
Oh.
was saying hallelujah. He started off this short. I was scrolling through. Hallelujah. Roe v. Wade has been overturned, and he's talking about how abortions are wrong because based on his religion and so forth. And I'm like, this makes
Mm-hmm.
no fucking sense. Mind you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Christian. I go to
Okay.
church. I'm a part of the technical team. I've actually
Okay.
preached in church before.
Mm-hmm.
But as a Christian, a sensible fucking Christian who's actually read the fucking Bible, I can tell you for a fact what he's saying, what other Christians would be saying, is absolute fuckery.
Ah.
The Bible proves that it is fuckery. First and foremost, Jesus never forced his will or Christianity on anybody. So if you're going to force, if you're going to say you're going to ban abortions, let's say you're a legislator, a lawmaker, whatever, you're going to say no abortions because it's against your religion. What happens with every other aspect of life? I'm a
Mm-hmm.
manipulative and uh, narcissistic individual. I can
Mm-hmm.
literally teach, if you don't know how to do it, I can legit teach you how to manipulate the Bible to your advantage.
Oh
There's a
yeah.
scripture in the Bible that says if two men are arguing and one man's wife intervenes, he's supposed to kill his wife because she disrespected him. So me
Mm-hmm.
and Bradshaw are neighbors and we're arguing, and his wife intervenes even to defend Bradshaw. It's
Yeah.
disrespectful. He's supposed to bash her head in as a rock. Are you going to put that? Are you, if someone does that and it says, because we're a Christian country and we have Christian principles, Bradshaw used that opportunity to kill his wife. It
Yeah.
could have been because he was tired of her and wanted a younger model, but that was
Mm-hmm.
the excuse that he used. And how are you going
I,
to say that he is now wrong, even though, as a legislator, lawmaker, whatever, you already said you're basing no abortions on Christian principles?
mm-hmm.
That's just one. There's another principle that says women should not have authority over men. That means every female legislator, lawmaker, senator, governor, whatever, has to
Thank
step
you.
down.
I said the
Her
same thing to
husband
someone.
has to know. Her husband now has to run election and win, and she can only be his arm candy.
Yes.
She cannot rule over men, and 50% of the nation is men, or whatever percentage of the nation is men. She cannot have authority over men.
And I said that to somebody, and they literally lost their minds. And I'm like,
that's just two, and these are all biblical. So how are you going to tell me that you're going to use the Bible to make this decision, but you can't use the Bible to make that decision? You're going to use logic to make it instead.
Thank you very much.
What kind of leader would you be if you're constantly flip-flopping like that? Can we trust you to lead? Are you sensible or sane enough to lead?
No, you'd be seen as a Democrat in this America. So you contradict yourself. I'm not you.
You can't be a Democrat. You can't listen to them.
Yeah, not saying you. I'm saying you would be a Democrat.
Yeah.
It's a one thing.
And I can legit think of multiple other ways to twist and turn the Bible into my favor.
Of course you can.
And it's not the worst part. I'm not even lying when I do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still being 100% honest when I do it.
Now put on your shoes.
What are you gonna do about fornication? Will that become illegal now?
Sir, did you not hear that?
90% of the nation will have to be imprisoned or executed for fornication.
Oh, sir, go easy. You have words on that. Yeah, people right now are losing their mind because I believe them said the justice mentioned something about gay marriage is next. But I know he probably said that to get a rise out of people because he's not going to go down that road. Because one, there's a lot of people on the Supreme Court that will not, quote unquote, will not side with him, no matter what he say. He's probably saying that to get a rise out of the Democrats who have been threatening his life and his family. Because he knows it offends a lot of people. But
sure. I mean, outside of religious, just to add to it again. Outside of religious, hold on, repeat the story, Bradshaw.
Which one?
They've been threatening him, and after that.
Oh yeah, he said now that Robbie versus Wade has been overturned, he's going to go after gay marriages next. And I said, but I know for a fact that he knows in himself as well that no one will side with him as it relates to that being the next thing he goes after. Because there's a lot of people that even though they personally, like myself, I am not gay, but I don't think I have the right to go after a man's or a woman's love interest. It's not my place to judge. So I leave that to them. So I know he only said that to get a rise out of the Democrats who are currently threatening his wife, because they went as far as doxing the man's information, putting out the man's wife's name, address, and where she works. You understand me? So again, they've gone really far, too far as far as I'm concerned. Because so he's saying, clearly, you're literally putting my wife in danger. And you're like, oh, they're gonna go after interracial marriages too.
Basically.
Huh? Mm-hmm.
Basically, they said fuck you and your wife.
Pretty much. And then for all the idiots out there who probably don't have that much common sense to realize what he's doing, they're all in their feelings, and people are violate even unspoken laws what them themselves wouldn't do. Slavery, for example. People are talking about, oh, maybe them put it back to you to about 1/5 of a human. Do you realize how stupid that sounds? Given all the things that first off, in order for that to even be possible, the what's it called again? Not the Constitution, the Civil Rights Acts, all three of them. By the way, people, for all of you who did not know, it's not one Civil Rights Act that was passed. It's actually three. But the most famous one is the one that they only hold on to. That means Congress would have to throw up three Civil Rights Acts before we can even go down that dark road of 1/5 of a human. And again, there's so much red tape that nobody wants to address. Because contrary to what they may or may not believe, a justice can't. That's why there's so many of them on the board. There's so many on the civil court. Sorry, the Supreme Court. One justice or a few justices can't just get up and just change the laws. It's not that easy. It really isn't that easy. But for some strange reason, society wanted to seem like, oh, they're trying to destroy America. No, they're not. And like I said, what he said was only to get a rise out of the people who are trying to who are threatening his family. And it
As you
worked.
should. That's what a man does.
It's natural and it's a human reaction. You are
Yeah.
literally sending people. You are sending people to not only my colleagues, my work, other justices' homes. CNN and a few other media companies have been pushing forward the man's family's information. So not only does his wife, his other family members, their families are being threatened. You understand me? People don't understand the magnitude to what it's not just people protesting about this thing. People went as far as even damaging buildings. Building gonna do nothing to you in Rasta. Car light on fire. People are driving about them business and protesters are attacking people. Mark you, we're not even talking about people who have no pro-life or you understand that one but to an extent, and that's still wrong because again, freedom of speech. But me, I drive about my business.
No, but like, how is freedom of speech meaning you can burn shit down? Is that how you talk?
No, sir.
No,
That's
like
how that's how a
if no,
child
like
talks.
again, and just like LGBT people, you're kind of twisting reality. If
Mm-hmm.
assault and arson is how you speak, then how about I speak through murder?
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm innocent as well after I kill you for disrespecting me or my family?
You know what this game is?
No.
You
But
have to get 13 players.
oh, okay.
So I gotta.
Alien.
Hey, Santa.
Hey, what's up? How are you? I've been hearing, I've been listening.
The conversation.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but I didn't want to. But it's
No, no, you're open to speak if you'd like.
yeah. Now when you were explaining about they be pushing stuff, but like for example, like I grew up I grew up with my parents being Democrat, and they don't really question nothing, and so I grew up being a Democrat, and I never really truly sat down and like questioned what is Democrat, like what do they stand for, and just like over time, the certain people that's like speaking for all the Democrats, so-called Democrats, like what they were representing, I was like, that don't represent me.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not gonna go out and go riot. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna say, if you see them people, you see the Republicans representing, you tell them to get out of here. I'm like, I don't do that. So if I was to put like a Trump sign on my car, somebody can vandalize my car just because
of a sign.
Of a sign.
That's a sign.
You know, or even like
There doesn't have to be a Trump sign, man. It's my good man.
Yeah.
You just have to have a different opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a condescending opinion. Just having a different opinion is grounds for you to be marked an enemy.
Like one time I told this lady, I was like, I remember I prayed on it. I said, God, I don't know what to do because I've been a Democrat all my life. So, but I don't understand it. So I started to dig, right? I realized that what I am, what I represent, working hard, I never really had to like rely on the system, except when I was a college student and I wasn't working, I had food stamps. That's it. But I work, I don't abuse the system. I don't do that. I wasn't raised to do that.
Me neither.
I've seen certain people around me that have abused the system, but I wasn't raised to do that. My mom she's basically a conservative, but don't know she's a conservative. She works at home, do private childcare at home. She sews. She believe in God, like everything. She's like a conservative. She don't even understand that she more of a conservative than anything. Not even Republican, just conservative.
Yes.
She's conservative.
In
That's what
morals
I
and
consider.
values.
I'm a conservative, because if you ask what political thing I am, I'm not Democrat nor Republican. I'm none, but I'm conservative.
Yes.
But if you tell people that, like
you're either for us or you're against us.
you're for us, you're
I
against us.
swear.
And that's
And I
where my
mean,
problem is when it comes to the whole political system.
right, to the point where it's like, if I wasn't around my family, they would just be like, "Oh, shut up, stop talking about that, because your entire family is like Democrat. You don't need to be talking about that." It's like they'll ostracize you and make you feel like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you saying those things?
Mm-hmm.
You weren't grown up to be that. What are you talking about?
Is the equivalent of they are Jamaica, and you are raised in either a JLP household or a PMP household.
Right, it's like it got to be one.
And either you're one or the other. And as soon as you dare to question the party's ethics, the things and what you're voting for, people literally start telling you, say, you need to stop talk. So you come, your family are JLP, and I'm
Literally
like,
disown you, kick you out of the house and stuff.
yes,
Yeah.
same. Sure.
No, but it reminds me of when I mentioned we're talking about people who are pro-life. Like you say you're pro-life, but the only thing you do is like fight against abortions. You've never been to like an orphanage. You've never adopted a kid. You've never helped homeless people or homeless kids. Like they have lives too. You probably don't even take care of your own blasted kids.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yet still you're pro-life, but the only life you care about is like the aborted lives of other people's kids.
Right.
Nothing else.
I can do you one better. There are parents who, just because they did the bare minimum, they believe that gives them a right to call themselves parents.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? And this might seem controversial to some, but
like my mother, I guess. Yeah.
Like I said, for some people, believe that just because I provided clothes, shoes, a roof over your head, food in your stomach, that makes me a parent. No, my dear, that makes you responsible. That's what it does. The child didn't ask to be here. That was off of your pleasure. Remember, consequences. There's consequences for actions. And then this mindset that you are not supposed to challenge what I say. How do you know this child is learning if every time you open your mouth, someone is there trying to slap you down, telling you to shut up? How do you know that this child is moving forward? Because this is where most people tend to forget. With evolution and children growing up, different ideas are brought into the fold. Yes, the ideas you might not agree with said ideas, but that's why you send them to school in the first place. That's why you sent them there in the first place. Believe it or not. That's why you send them there. Not to challenge what you know, but to bring in different things. You understand? Different ideas. Exactly. And you as a parent should learn from the child, not exert that quote unquote tyrannical force because you are the one in charge of their upbringing. That's how children end up turning.
Right, like our parents, like a lot of us, the only thing they wanted to learn was how to use a smartphone.
Yep. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, my boy. That is heartbreaking because I've witnessed plenty of kids who are being raised by their androids and their tablets and not their parents. I met a young man who is a clinical genius. He drew a picture of skyscrapers, skyline, rivers. He literally made a picture of New York using nothing but a pen. Pen, not pencil, pen.
I think I saw that.
And when he showed me it, I was blown away. I'm like, wow. And he says, this is just him, that's a regular.
It was just a doodle for him.
Yeah, yes, it was.
It wasn't even him like putting out effort. It was just a doodle.
Exactly. And I'm like, wow. You know the weirdest thing about all of this is He was being raised by his tablet. His mother was a nurse, and his father, I'm not sure if he was in the picture, I'm there too far. Hell, they caught him watching something that he wasn't supposed to. But then everybody was in an uproar and roaring about the cuss, and I'm like, no, and it can't be that way. Because at first, most people at the workplace couldn't stand him because of the way how he behaved. But then I'm like, it's not fair for push this down upon him. He's still a child. He may be brilliant, but he's still a child.
And
Parents,
Sunday, our parents are like this with like everything, religion, politics, and just life overall.
yep.
I got into an argument with my mom one time. I think it was was it the last World Cup or the one before that? There
Mhm.
was this player from South America. I don't remember.
Mhm.
Paulo. I remember it's Paulo Guerrero. Was it him?
Mhm.
I don't remember. Like mom looked at him and was like, "Oh my God!" I looked at him and I said, "The devil." And I'm like, "So what's wrong with that?" She's like, "What do you mean? That man's probably going to hell, whatever, whatever." So I'm like, "So where was God when he was growing up?
There you go.
Like if he went through hell growing up, and he said, let's say he's a Satanist, or let's say he's an atheist,
Mhm.
how can you blame him when God wasn't there for him growing up? You can't say, oh, like, oh, God is the reason why he made it to this far. But like, I mean, he was banned because he caught, I think, smuggling drugs, I think cocaine. But I'm saying, like, if that was the life that he grew up on, how are you going to say that he's a bad person if that's what he knows? He didn't grow up like me and you,
Mhm.
so he didn't have the same opportunities or privileges like me and you. So how are you going to complain when that's what he
Mhm.
knows to do?
It was same, my boss. But
And like
yeah.
she wanted to argue with me, and then like she paused at one point because she was just arguing enough because
Mhm.
I objected to her and I objected to our Christian religion, even though I'm
Ye-
a Christian as well. So I was
Yes.
using logic and common sense,
There
How
you
dare
go.
and
you?
it wasn't until she actually stopped and thought about it and she
Mhm.
realized that what I said made sense. I don't remember what her reply was, but like
Mhm.
she kind of just said, "Okay, fine." Just went like she didn't like it, but she kind of just went with it, reluctant.
Do you want to know something? Someone asked a question once about that same argument about what if someone was never introduced to God, never introduced to Christ, growing
Yeah,
up
I
with
saw an interview with that.
does he go to hell? Does the Bible's words do they apply to him? And the guy who was asked the question says the Bible says if he doesn't every say what? For every
The winds and the stones and whatever
yes.
will teach him about God.
And I'm like,
It's like
that's
that doesn't
so
make any sense.
I don't think that's
Because
so
the dude was saying, if I didn't go to church, I wouldn't know about God. If I grew
exact.
up in a Rastafarian household, I would be a Rasta. If I grew up
Mm,
in a Muslim household, Islam is the thing. If I grew up
mm,
in a Indian household, I'd be a Hindu.
mhm.
The
Exactly.
fuck is he talking about?
Exactly. So again, and again I ask a question, I say, how what you say makes sense? Where's the logic behind what you say? Because following your logic, for the ignoramus was never met a Christian, was never seen the Bible. He's supposed to be damned to eternal damnation by your logic. That is,
No, but someone else asked a question. What happened to all the people that were born before Christ?
thank you very much. For all the barbarians and for all the people and when times were so civil that the only thing you would just you wanted a mate to breed so you could pass on your genes so that the next generation, I don't know, society, Lord.
And it's still hard to believe that God is actually that stupid and petty. Like you don't know me, so I'm gonna send you to hell.
Isn't
There
that
you
is it that out of proportion though?
yo, people don't care for those, and this is for the religious zealous them. And I will say that religious zealous because some of them really believe what them saying makes sense.
Wait, did you go way off course now?
Bro, we haven't done a controversial. When was the last time we did a controversial
2
topic?
weeks ago.
Yeah, but this is what
Maybe
we do.
3.
This is what we do, and people enjoy
Yeah,
it.
but I mean, I love the convo.
Me too.
Yeah,
Like,
you ever notice anytime we enjoy conversations, we just seem to have this brightness about us. But anytime the conversation is pissing us
you
off,
hit me like this is like the 3rd time my mind is like off track, off track, off track.
this is
But I've
what
enjoyed the convo.
this is what not talking about relationships for 3 weeks straight does to you. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm
mean, don't
single
worry.
and I enjoy it. I will not allow you guys to peer pressure me into getting a girlfriend. I enjoy being single. I'm genuinely happy.
Whoa. Slow down. The only person trying to peer pressure you into getting a woman is Loans. I couldn't give a shit. You could have sex with a camel and I wouldn't even judge you. I would just ask you, okay, cool. Did you enjoy
No,
it?
I wasn't talking about sex. I was talking about relationships here. Calm down.
Sir, knowing you would go and have sex with anything at this point.
I wasn't talking about sex here. I was talking about relationships.
You don't know what a relationship is anymore, so.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Disrespect.
A
Anywho,
relationship
Look,
is
I
like riding
just
a
joined
bike.
the podcast. I had to, okay?
disrespect.
A relationship is like riding a bike.
No, absolutely not.
Some people don't know how to do it either
Absolutely
because
not.
they didn't grow up with a
Shut
father.
up. Absolutely not. Shut up. We're going back on topic. Shut up.
Well, I will say this for all of y'all. I take no pleasure in knowing that society believes that killing a child somehow sense because it feeds into another person's insecurities. I mean, for those of you out there who want to curse and say me this and me devil knows what, I mean, if it make you sleep better at nights, go for it. Like it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me nonetheless. Because at the end
I
of the
mean,
day,
we're gonna talk shit about you as well, and we're gonna sleep at night. So
yeah, such is life. And
I mean, what goes around?
I mean, I'm more mentally mature than you. Then that's all it really points out. That I can have a conversation that you are not comfortable with having without losing my mind about it. So what if someone was telling your daughter that she couldn't do this and that? Well, she learned from her mistakes. You understand me? And for those of you like, oh my God, you're only saying that. Oh, try me.
No, we're
Try.
not saying that it's a fact because it's going to happen. Again, when you make decisions based on your emotions, logic will serve you your consequences.
And I've said that before on this podcast. I'm not one of those fathers who's going to go, oh, my daughter this and that. No, common sense have to take precedence at some point in this conversation. But don't want you to hate me for being honest with you. But if it has to be, then so be it. That's a father's job. It's not to make.
Just to get a bit of clarification. So, both of you are for the abortion law or against it completely? Just ask.
Well, not
Abortion within reason.
exactly. And I also agree with him.
You know, that's how I respect you, gentlemen. You know, when I grow up, I want to be just like you, Dario. When I grow up.
No, but I mean, it has to be. I mean, again, I've said this before. I can't think of a logical reason to be against abortion.
No, but you see, this is the thing, and I know I'm a bit late to it all.
Mhm.
This is where I know a lot of people kind of tread the line between what is right and what is good. You can tell from now, it's not black and white.
Of course it's not. And for any idiot who thinks that we want to slap, because the way I'm raised with people must say,
I'm speaking mostly to the women because I know a lot of them are going to see this. They're going to hate it. As per usual, because women hate anything that is the truth.
no, take that back.
Most of them.
There you go.
Sorry.
Stop saying women. Say grown girls.
I can't.
Yeah. You better.
No, but fun and jokes aside.
Yeah.
One of the criteria for being a woman is you have to have a certain level of sense and maturity.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're genuinely not a woman. You're just a grown. You're just a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old girl. Same thing for men.
Of course. But not enough man child.
The criteria. Well, hold on. Can you call me a doctor?
No.
Can you call a medical doctor? Do I meet the criteria to be a medical doctor?
No, you don't.
Exactly.
You identify as one?
I'm talking about reality, not illusions right now.
On that road. That is not funny. Bro. That is not funny.
Jeez.
I won't
Oh
lie.
my
I'm not.
God, I was really hoping you would come with that bullshit.
Wow. I think I deserve a red card for that one. That was
Can I
wow.
ask
Speaking in
you?
the terms of reality.
Yes.
Speaking in reality. Like I don't meet the criteria to be a doctor. So I can't be referred to as a doctor. I can't act like a doctor. If I even identify as a doctor, I still be wrong.
Mhm.
I don't meet the criteria to be a woman, so I'm not a woman, despite
There
what
you
society
go.
might say. I don't meet the criteria to be a laptop. I'm a
Agreed.
human, so I can't be a laptop.
You know,
I mean,
what I
if
find?
I plug this, hold on, just aside, and the trans people will say, yo, they get surgery, so they're women now. If I plug this into my ear, am I now a laptop? No. Just because I made myself look more laptopish doesn't make me a laptop. If you
No.
mutilate yourself beyond reason to make yourself look like a
And,
woman, you're still not a
and
woman,
to
you're a
end,
dude.
and to end on this off-topic note again, let us say
Yeah.
this. Just like the people in Ukraine, you all didn't want to go to the war because you're women, not men, but you identify DNA speaking as men. So either way you take it, your logic is fucked. But in essence, what I wanted to really say, because I remember a conversation I had about this whole abortion thing, and I've been indifferent to it all because I really don't see what all the rage was about. As per usual, Twitter blasts up everything, and I mean everything.
Yeah, there
And
was a 10. We'll just skip it.
and I remember she said,
10 and skip pass.
if I got a girl pregnant, would I A, make her get an abortion, or B, make her keep the child? And if she's adamant upon keeping the child, and I'm like, well, let's think about it like this logically. And I know that's a bit hard for you to do because logic isn't exactly the most first emotion that comes when you're losing your shit. If you keep
idiots, just stop beating the bush, idiots.
anyways, you keep the child, you're going to drop out of college, lose all of the wealth of knowledge that you would have picked up on the way, just for what purpose exactly?
Just to post pictures of your baby on Father's Day, the baby that you're not taking care of.
And then this is why the whole I'm not saying that deadbeat fathers aren't existing in this country that we call Jamaica land we love, but if we can call a spade, a lot of these women know these guys don't want the kid and still bring it to life. So who exactly is to blame? That's why I always say that everything is as black and white as you think. You can call him a deadbeat all you want, but at the end of the day,
almost nothing is black and white with human beings.
No, it's not. And even I made peace with that because there's a lot of people that want to hold on to this BS argument that, well, the child is here now, then what?
Gender is black and white.
But they want to admit that or not. But I say this to anybody who have a problem with what I say. Bring your evidence to prove. If there was no safety net to protect you or said child from the decisions you make for yourself, because the child definitely was not a part of that, right? A part of the decision making. This is based on your feelings, no facts, no logic behind it, just feelings.
And listen, people, for some of you who are going to still be emotional, we get it. Shit happens that the child gets born anyway. Okay? Not talking about you lot. We're talking about the lot that actually actively knew they could avoid it and still did it anyway.
They walked into it, and then I'm supposed to somehow feel sorry for you. Not so. I'm gonna say this to anybody, man or woman. If you know, and you all know, unprotected sex, the risk of that is also pregnancy. Why would you put yourself in that jeopardy? If you know deep down within you, you do not want this child, don't put yourself in that position to get said child. If you know deep down in your heart you don't want the child, take a plan B. Especially for the women, because the women are the only ones that can buy said plan B. It's not a case that the man, even up here, Jamaica, the same thing too. You cannot. No, yeah, sure.
If a man ever try that shit,
I gave a chick money for plan B.
Mm-hmm.
If a man ever tried it in Jamaica, no, liable forget lock up.
Let me just say I'm a virgin. So the
Dario.
Anyway,
Hold on.
a friend of mine.
Hold on. Before you continue, Bradshaw, isn't this like what the 10th episode now we've done where we caught this man red-handed? Admit say he's not a virgin.
Hopefully, yeah.
No evidence. Anyway, a friend of mine.
Just give it yourself.
Shut up. I'm speaking. Can I speak? I allowed you to speak. Can I speak? Thank you.
I can't go up to a counter and say, pharmacy, can you tell me,
Did you see that video of the
I don't like
guy giving her like abortion pills?
if he was giving her abortion pills.
Yeah, he was giving her abortion pills in her like in her food.
Oh well, Plan B is the most powerful version of it.
Well, he was giving it.
We can.
I think the baby.
Yeah, because the pill and probably weak, but the Plan B, on the other hand, yeah, very dangerous and very powerful. Men aren't allowed to purchase that. Men aren't allowed, even Jamaica.
I had no idea.
Vanessa, before she went AWOL, a friend of ours, she said the guy named Drean approached her and said, "Him a look a Plan B for a friend of his. Come to find out Drean, his pull-out game was not going to be far at that time. Then go, peace off." And she couldn't give it. The reason why he could get it because she have to tell the head pharmacist that she buy it for herself. He could not. And even up here is the same thing. That's why some of the guy them purposely follow the woman into the pharmacy, especially the one them who are, I love him. If him no say it was just a little accident, cheese off on her, he tries.
Ram, some of these women will take the money to go buy the stuff and don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to mommy.
Real out here.
Yeah. Well, my daughter just woke up.
Cut to mommy.
She woke up and now she's looking for somebody to hug her, cuddle her,
Cut to
till she
mom.
fall
Come.
back to sleep.
Bring your blankie.
So she
Hold on, we've been going on over 20.
Yeah, we've been at it for a minute now.
I am hungry. I need to go cook dinner.
Yeah.
Please don't speak about food. I have not eaten it, sir.
I'm gonna eat the rest of my salad, so I never finish all like my
How
lunch.
much weight have you lost?
I've been fluctuating, my boy.
Okay.
I lost 20 pounds, but then I purposely stay below the threshold of 15. So I keep gaining 5, drop 3, gain 4, drop 2. I've been fluctuating the last 5 pounds, but I've lost still 15 pounds. I haven't gone up. Right?
What's your excuse for cooking this late?
I don't know.
Your bad eating habits are coming back again, aren't they?
No, like my mind has been fuzzy all day. I don't know if it was an anxiety thing because I've just been sitting down. I wasn't even paying attention to it. I wasn't watching anything. I was just lying down. And I don't smoke. I don't drink. So I was like strung out on emotions, I guess.
Not telling myself. I was doing my little program that I've been doing for the last week or so. Who would have thought that if you just shut up and just do push-ups, you can actually do it? Fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got to 1,000.
I mean, it's what Now I'm planning on increasing my gym workouts and
Yeah,
I
I didn't go to the gym. I went to rugby training. That's it.
I need to stop chewing gum. I need to stop chewing straws because I realize that intermittent fasting kind of backfires if I chew anything in the mornings. Why? Because the chewing is telling my brain that food is going down. So it turns up the acid in my stomach, which
That's not
also
healthy, my guy.
I know, and it also increases the gremlin, not gremlin, the hunger hormone where your body produces it increases it as
Hunger
well.
gremlin is the same thing. Wait, hold on. I just realized we're still recording. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you stuck with us this long, thank you for
Yes,
listening to our workout progress as well as the podcast. Um,
yes.
I'm not sure if we covered everything because we went off track a bit.
As usual, as per usual. You're used
I
to it, man.
mean, we're not against abortions, but I mean, it has to be within reason, as
Yep.
all
Mm.
things should be
Controversial topic so
regulated.
that 2022 going forward and for the rest of our lives till we die. If it's not in logic, it doesn't make any sense.
Literally. But yeah, please subscribe to
Like,
the channel if you like our content or want to uh, hear more. If you want to argue with us, I would recommend you subscribe. You mean you can listen to all our podcasts. You can argue with us in the comment section. I mean, if your arguments are good, we might even give you our phone number so we can disrespect you in
why you have
like a personal video call.
why
I'll do it.
like we
I'm
we,
I
that
mean,
we
I'm that petty.
I'm not against a personal video call, but it's because of what transpired last night, and I'll tell you, Dario, what exactly went on here. I'm not too fond of random people finding me through that channel and asking me some very. Ugh. Anyways,
We'll get into that. So like, comment, subscribe, and
Mhm.
share the video so we can continue the conversation. Do reply to every single comment and stay safe, stretch, whether you work out or not, drink
Mhm.
water, stay awesome, and we will see you next week.
Ah.